Hi there, it's Roy Breton here from GardenEquipmentReview.com. I hope you're doing well. Today the title on my thumbnail is Hedge Cuttings. The season is here. Best tools for the job. Now there are loads of tools out there and I'm just going to run through a few because otherwise I will be here for a long time, but just kind of the basics to give you an idea of what the different types do. So if we look at the different types here, we have the cordless hedge cutters. Now, what I would be, cordless hedge cutters are great. Unfortunately, hedge cutting doesn't take that much power, so you generally have better battery life, but just check out the battery power because some of the cheaper models, the batteries don't last that long. But the good thing is with hedge cutting, in general it's quite light, so it doesn't take huge amounts of power, so therefore your batteries normally last longer. Here we've got electric trimmers. Now, I'm not a fan of electric anyway, with the dangling cord, whether it's a mower or anything, because to me the cord is just a pain. But especially with hedge cutting, I've heard of so many people cutting through their hedge cutter cable. I was talking to a friend the other day to cut through his hedge cutter cable 6 times, I think he said. And because you're sort of waving the hedge cutter about, does that tendency to cut the cord if you're not very careful. So people do use them, and just plug them in and they go. It's very simple, but it's not. I think there's better alternatives personally. And then we've got long reach hedge cutters here. Now these are available in petrol, electric, and battery. My personal choice is petrol. But then I quite like petrol things. The battery stuff is getting better, but just once again, just be aware of battery life. And then you've got your traditional petrol hedge cutter here, and this is more of a professional one. It's actually a Stihl one. So we've also got sort of discount ones. Now here we have a Hyundai pole hedge trimmer, which is a long reach with an extension pole. To be fair, I don't know quite how they make it quite so cheap, but it comes with the hedge cutting attachment and the extension pole, and the powerful 52cc. It is powerful for a hedge cutter, and even comes with tools. The good thing is with Hyundai stuff, they give 3 years warranty if you're using it domestically, and 1 year if you're using it commercially. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it for commercial use, but Hyundai do offer a warranty for that. But if you're using it for professionally, I would go for something more professional. However, the price of that, and these prices do change, so just be aware, is $129.99, which is extremely good value, to be fair. Next one is another Hyundai model, a petrol hedge cutter, 26cc, 24-inch blade. That's $149.99. Now, if you're just generally cutting hedges and your hedge isn't too high, it's much easier to do it with this type of hedge cutter rather than the long reach. These are kind of generally lighter and just easier to handle. So if I had a choice of a long reach or one of these, I would go for your standard type hedge cutter, whether it's a Hyundai or another make. But that's £150 for a petrol one, which is once again still quite good value for a petrol machine. And once again, same thing with the warranty: 3 years domestic, 1 year commercial. The next one's a cordless Hyundai, which once again is cheap, £129, and just be careful once again with the battery life. But fortunately, hedge cutting, as I said, doesn't take too much power, so you probably get away with a smaller battery much easier than what you would do with, for example, a chainsaw or even a strimmer or something. So that's that one. Here we have a rechargeable one, 20-volt Hyundai one, which is £94.98. So once again, got quite a good price, and once again with the 3 year domestic warranty, 1 year commercial warranty. And then we're going totally upmarket, one extreme to the other. But I always recommend people buy, if you're going to be using a hedge cutter regularly every year, obviously we all have a budget to go to, but this is a type of hedge cutter I used to use, Stihl HS82. These are available in 24-inch and 30-inch. I used to go for the 30-inch, just which it was heavier, but they just cut a bit quicker. You can cover a bit more, a larger area. And now it may seem a lot at 637 pounds, but overall, the amount of time you will have that hedge cutter for is much longer than a cheaper model in general. I even using some Stihl stuff professionally. My Stihl blower is about 9 years old now. I'm not using it 24 hours a day, but it's used regularly and it still works perfectly. My Combi strimmer and hedge cutter, that's similar age and still working absolutely fine. So although the initial cost is more, and we do have a budget, if you can go more professional, I am a fan of Stihl because I've used many of their products over the years. Still have their products, and definitely works out cheaper in the long run. And in general, you have a good product. And then here we have another Combi Stihl hedge cutter. So this one's with a hedge cutter, and the engine is £954. I think the actual power units vary depending which model you have, sort of between 400 and 600 roughly, depending on price. I went for the power unit with the larger CC, as I just think it gives a bit more versatility and longer life. But that is kind of from going from Hyundai to Stihl is a completely different thing. But once again, I think in the long term you save. So we've got many hedge cutters on our website, and too many to mention. Here's 769 cordless ones. Now some of them may be very similar, but a lot to go through. But that just gives you a rough idea of what's available. And so the biggest thing I would say is, obviously we've all got a budget, but buy the best you can, and long term it'll work out cheaper, and you'll have the pleasure of using a nicer piece of equipment that's going to be long lasting. If you've got any questions on this video, please feel free to leave a comment. I'm here to help, and thank you very much for watching.